You heard what they said. You saw what they promised. The final face-off between Joe Biden and Donald Trump was very much like a debate, unlike their first meeting. The mute button did work after all. The back and forth was easier to follow. The US president managed to tone down his approach. Joe Biden stuttered less. But there was a fair dose of personal attacks and political theatrics. From the opening minute to the closing statements, Joe Biden and Donald Trump offered completely divergent views on almost every issue. The pandemic, healthcare, immigration, racism, foreign policy, climate change. They did not agree on anything. We shall discuss in detail shortly. But first, let's answer a question that most of you must have on your minds. Who won this debate? To be honest, there was no winning this debate. Not 12 days before the election, in which more than 47 million people have already voted. 47 million. I don't think either candidate's arguments in this debate will sway voters anymore. Most of them seem to have already made up their minds about who they'll vote, who they want to see in the White House. That said, let's focus on something that has been making headlines here in India, Donald Trump's remarks on climate change, because it was the only time that India was mentioned in the 1.5-hour-long debate, and not for the best of reasons. Listen to this.
Look at China, how filthy it is. Look at Russia. Look at India. It's filthy. The air is filthy. Look at China, how filthy it is. Look at Russia. Look at India. It's filthy. The air is filthy.
I can't say it like him. The air is filthy, he says with a special effect. But call it election rhetoric or his personal views, what Donald Trump said is nothing new or even wrong. India does have bad air. Just this week, the State of Global Air report revealed how India recorded the world's highest annual average concentration of PM 2.5 exposure in its air. Donald Trump may be right. At the same time, he has no moral authority whatsoever to preach anyone, including India. He is, after all, the world's biggest climate change denier. I'll give you 3 quick examples of what he has done to the environment in the last 4 years of his presidency. Number 1, he pulled out of the Paris Climate Accord, a landmark 2015 global agreement to fight climate change. Trump thinks the agreement is an unfair economic burden. He does not want to invest in fighting climate change. Number 2, he has weakened land and animal preservation projects. In 2017, Trump announced plans to slash more than 2 million acres of protected lands in Utah. 2 million acres of land. The changes allowed oil and gas mining projects in these areas. Number 3, this happened just 2 months back. In August, the U.S. Environment Protection Agency, EPA, announced its plan to roll back regulations on methane emissions for the oil and gas industry. This was an Obama-era rule which required oil and gas companies to monitor and fix points where methane, the second largest driver of climate change, leaked from factories across the U.S. The Trump administration said the regulation was flawed and an unnecessary burden on the private sector. The U.S. president should be the last person preaching another country on climate change. If you need more proof, listen to this.
I know more about wind than you do. It's extremely expensive. Kills all the birds. I know more about wind than you do. It's extremely expensive. Kills all the birds.
In other news, the Senate Judiciary Committee has advanced the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court and set up a final vote for confirmation on Monday. With a 12-0 vote, Republicans have paved the way for Barrett to fill the vacant seat and serve the Supreme Court for life. Democratic senators who have been opposed to the nomination boycotted the meeting and called the process a sham. Republican senators ridiculed Democrats. They called the boycott an election year antic.
I find this to be a surreal environment we're in, where our Democratic colleagues announced yesterday they're going to boycott one of the most important votes this committee will have. But I just want to comment on the pictures that are in their chairs, like this is some sort of sporting event during COVID-19, and rather than show up and do their job, they choose to continue the theater that was part of the hearing.
In other news, U.S. astronaut Kate Rubins cast her ballot from the International Space Station 253 miles above the Earth. She also voted from the ISS in 2016. for Americans living on Earth. If you haven't voted already, go out and make your voice heard. Thank you for watching Gravitas on WION's YouTube channel. If you want to stay up to date with what's happening around the world, then subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like and share. Thank you very much for watching WION. The world is one.